spelling.
Okay. Aggie Christopher, A-G-G-I-E. Last name Christopher, C-H-R-I-S-T-O-P-H-E-R.
Name of the company as well.
It's Journey for You.
And your position?
The creator.
So Aggie, how did you get started in life?
Well, I grew up in a small town in Newfoundland, and when I turned 18 years old, and of course had graduated, it just seemed to be the natural progression, as I had a lot of family members that moved to Vancouver. So I moved to Vancouver at 18 years old and started this journey.
So tell me about a mantra. Do you have a mantra in life?
I have a couple that I live by. One of the ones that I think it's driven my whole life is that nothing will work unless you do. And the other one is that excuses will never pay your bills.
How did you get there? How did you come up with that? What happened?
Well, I think that I've always been accountable. And I think that, once you are an individual, that you don't use excuses. I mean, there's a difference between having a situation go wrong or go awry and accepting that and having a game plan to be able to move forward. But excuses, they'll never get you anywhere. An excuse is just what people use in order to not feel like they're being blamed for something. And I think that it's very important that in whatever stage you are in life, that you are accountable and that you understand that the only way that you're going to move forward is to accept accountability and to move forward from there.
That's great. So how long have you been involved in fitness? I noticed that you are into fitness. Tell me about that.
Well, I've been, like I said, from the time that I can remember being able to run, I've always enjoyed activity. And in high school, I played every sport that you could imagine. Basketball, volleyball, I did track, I did gymnastics, I played varsity sports. I just loved, from morning till night, being fit and being active. So as I moved to Vancouver, I found different other ways. I did play some softball, I did play some sports, but it was more personal commitment for me. And I did run and I did weights and, until about 8 years ago when I got connected up with martial arts.
So tell me about your motivation and what drives you, because you're doing so many things. So what's your main drive?
Well, I think that, one of the things that drives me is that, I want to make sure that I leave no stones unturned. And I think that, my philosophy about life, I know that a lot of people look to retirement at a certain age. That won't be me. I always say to people, I'll retire when I'm driving home and I can't remember my address. Then it's time for me to move to the care home. But otherwise, I just think it's important to stay active. I think it's important as we age to keep your mind active. And I think that that's also what helps you when you are that active. You are in control of your own body. You're making your own decisions.
Okay, that's great. So, speaking of that, how did you come up with your own idea or your idea for your own business? How did you do that?
Well, I actually have been in sales for a number of years, working for a couple of the largest distributors in the food industry. And about 17 years ago, or actually it was probably a little longer than that, about 18 or 19 years ago, a fellow who had started the food brokerage company that I own, he approached me to be a partner. And at that time, there was only 2 lines. It really wasn't much of a company. But, it always intrigued me because I had people that had said to me, you should be running your own business. So it took me a couple of years to figure out that, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make that leap. I'm going to take that chance. And in 2003, I did. My husband, I think, at times questioned whether, it was the right decision. And I know that in the first couple of years, I questioned whether it was the right decision. But one of the things that I know about me is that, I am going to do the best I can and as much as I can and make it happen. And I thought, okay, my plan B is if I fail, then I'll just find myself another job. But fortunately enough that I had some great relationships that I had built, and also I'm very motivated and I keep my eye on the prize. So within 3 years of moving into this partnership, because I had taken out a large line of credit in order to fund it, and I had that paid back, as well as started taking a great salary, and the rest is history. 2009, I bought my partner out. There were 6 of us at the time, and in 2018, I took the company across Canada, and now we're a national brokerage company with 20 employees.
That's great. Tell me about the keys to your success. What made you successful as you are?
Well, I think that definitely fitness is a large part of it. I think that for me, every day going and doing martial arts, whether I'm training by myself or whether I'm training with a partner, it keeps me focused. It helps me be able to clear my mind. It helps me be able to be more productive. And I think that at any level of your life, if you want to be productive, if you want to be in sync, you have to have fitness. And you have to have where the mind, body, and spirit are connected. And that's where success comes in.
That's great. So let's talk about your family a little bit. Let's start from your siblings, your parents. Tell me about that. How many siblings do you have?
Okay, I have 15 siblings. I have 8 sisters and 7 brothers. So one mother, one father. There were no twins in our family. My mother had 16 pregnancies. And I'm number 15, so I'm the baby girl of the family. I think that for me it was, being number 15, you feel that you really have to step out of your comfort zone in order to have a voice. And I was very fortunate that for me, I think where your voice comes is when you work on yourself. And I think that you have to look from within. And I think that my biggest advice to people is that when you're struggling, first of all, you have to embrace the struggle. But second of all, you have to look to yourself, because every answer that you need is within. You just have to look strong enough for it.
Tell me about your family now, your whole family.
Well, I have, there's only actually 15 of us left. My dad passed away when I was 26 years old. And my mom and my sister passed away in 2001, 6 weeks from each other. So my mother passed away the beginning of May, and my sister was the middle of June. But we've been very, very fortunate that there's still 15 of us left. And that, one of the things, it won't be happening this Christmas, but I would do a Christmas gathering where there would be around, anywhere between 40 and 55 people. And this would have been the 34th year. So hopefully this COVID ends and we can do it next year.
So tell me about your sons. How many sons do you have?
I have 2 sons. Ryan is my oldest, and he's 34, and Taylor is my youngest, and he's 28. Very fortunate because of the fact that we do have a great relationship. One of the things that I was always, in raising the children, I wanted to make sure that they were never handicapped in the way of me having them, make excuses for them and wanting them to stand on their own 2 feet. And one of the things, as we were going through, especially in their teenage years, and they thought that I was such a strict mom, I would say to them, you know what, if we can get to the other side and we can be friends, that's great. But if that doesn't happen, that's all right too. Because my job, and in order for me to do the best job I can, is I'm doing in your best interest, not mine. So I think that I was fortunate that even though I was very strict, and they're great, fine men, that we did get to the other side, and we are good friends to the point of where both of them work for me in my other company. Ryan runs his own gym, and Taylor is a martial artist. So
that's great. Let's go back to your business.
Yes.
Start right now. So of course, you want to help people, but is there a message in particular that you want people to take away with them?
Yeah, I think that I want people to understand that, first of all, that you have to be your best friend, not your worst enemy. And I think that that's where a lot of people set themselves up for failure, is that they don't realize that you sabotage yourself. I think that, understanding who you are, understanding what you're capable of, and putting that into play starts you on that journey and that path. And, I always say life is like a freight train. It's always coming at you. You have no control over what's coming at you. What you have control over is whether you're going to stand there and let the freight train hit you or whether you're going to jump to the right or to the left. And that's it. Once you break it down into the basics, it's a lot easier to live.
That's very true. So why now? Why at this stage of your life you want to start this business? Why not before? What has changed?
Well, I think first of all, in raising a family, helping my sons with their gyms, being a mother, being a wife, just trying to make sure that our day-to-day lives are looked after and that I was there for everybody what they needed. But one of the things that always struck me was that people would always say, Aggie, you're so upbeat and positive. A lot of what you say really is invigorating. It makes me feel like I can conquer the world. And so I think that, with having so many people say that and me wanting to reach out and help people and wanting to, if there's some little way, whether it's through a smile, a coffee, some words, I can help lighten the load. That's why. And I think that I'm set up in a situation where now it's the right time, that I do have a lot of events that have happened in my life. I think that I do have a lot of, structure. And I think that I do have a much better understanding of a balance of life and what it means to you.
So can you tell me one trait that you feel pushed you to be successful at this point of your life?
Oh, without a doubt. I think that for me, it's determination. And it's funny because my dad would always say to me, I was the type of individual that would ask a question if I could do something and the answer would be no. So I would ask the same question many different ways until I got the yes. And so my dad would say to me, Aggie, I'm going to tell you right now, you are so determined. I pity the man that gets you. But on the other hand, I can't wait to meet him, because that's one thing that you never let up on. And I believe that in life, that if you feel strongly enough, and if you want whatever it is in life, that you got to stay to the course, and you have to make sure that you don't lose sight of that target.
What do you think? Anything else you want to add? You have plenty of really good stuff.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, you think you covered everything?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, like
a story, wasn't like a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
covered most of the stuff.
Yeah, and that's why, like I said, it's easy for me to speak because of the fact that I'm very comfortable with the topic.
Absolutely. And you're at your own place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just safe zone for sure. Okay, that's great.
Good.
I'm happy. So stop.